Hey everybody, Jillian here. Welcome back to my channel for a new Bible journaling process video. This is what my desk looks like typically when I get started to Bible journal. I have my Bible open to the verse that I want to talk about today. It's in Psalm 66. I've got some alphabet stickers here from Simple Stories and Illustrated Faith. I've got some washi tapes and then some printables from Illustrated Faith's Print Pray Shop. I've got a pair of scissors, my phone. I typically listen to worship music while I am creating, and then I've got my coffee no matter what time of the day I'm working on this. I have a pretty cool story I want to share with you guys today, and I'm not going to get too much into the process of it. I feel like it's fairly self-explanatory. If you have any questions about anything that I'm using or anything that I'm doing in particular, feel free to leave a comment below. I'm going to have a lot of this stuff linked in the description, but if you have a question, just feel free to leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys, even if it's just to say hi. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. Today's entry is all about answered prayers. If you guys are ever in a rough patch or a funk or something like that, I highly recommend documenting specific prayers that God has answered in your life. It is a great pick-me-up. I am speaking from personal experience. And so I wanted to tell this story and document this story in my Bible of how God specifically answered this prayer that I prayed about 4 years ago. And He answered it 4 years ago, but I just now am deciding that I want to document it. It's a great testimony to how He is involved in our lives and wants us to know Him and love Him and trust Him. And so I think it's pretty cool, and I still kind of get goosebumps when I think about it. The verse that I am journaling this next to is in Psalm chapter 66, verses 16 through 20. It says, "Come and hear, all you who fear God. Let me tell you what He has done for me. I cried out to Him with my mouth. His praise was on my tongue. If I had cherished sin in my heart, the Lord would not have listened. But God has surely listened and has heard my prayer. Praise be to God who has not rejected my prayer or withheld His love from me." You'll see me realize later on in the video that this verse is on the right page and I'm journaling on the left. It's not a big deal. It just gives me some more room to continue this entry over on the right. I'll share a little bit about my testimony here. In verse 18, it says, "If I had cherished sin in my heart, the Lord would not have listened." So I, about 4.5 years ago, had taken God off of the shelf I had put Him on after coming home from Bible college of all places. And I had a pretty traumatic incident, and I realized, what am I doing with my life? What a waste. And so that next morning was a Sunday morning, and I knew that my grandmother would be at her church, sitting in the exact same pew that she always sat in. I hadn't been to church in years since I had come home from school. And she was there. I sat with her and began going to her church every Sunday morning. A few weeks after that, she ended up having a stroke and passed away, but I continued to go to her church. I sat there by myself and didn't really know anybody. They had a new pastor, and they were, reorganizing some things in the church, which included new Sunday school classes. I was really looking for new relationships. I was in the midst of letting go of old relationships. I had repented from the things of the past, some sins that I had going on in my life prior to coming back to church. And so I think that it's so important that in verse 18 it says, "If I had cherished sin in my heart, the Lord would not have listened." Here I am, repenting from a life of sin, and now praying. So I pray this prayer: "Lord, show me where you want me to go. Which Sunday school class do you want me to be in?" The very next Sunday, I see this girl come over. She was in her 20s also at that time, and she came over to me and she says, "Hi, my name's Liz. Which Sunday school class are you going to go in?" Oh my goodness. I had never seen her before. She told me that she sat on the opposite side of the sanctuary. I think there were anywhere from 300 to 400 people that would worship with us in that service on Sunday mornings. And she and I became great friends. She ended up becoming my accountability partner. We ended up going to the same Sunday school class together, and it was amazing. God totally answered that prayer within a week of me asking it. So amazing. I could still tell you what the weather was like, what I was wearing that day, what song was on the radio when I called my dad, just so excited on the way home. Guess what God has done? He answered this prayer. Can you believe this? I still get goosebumps thinking about it. That's the answered prayer that I want to document on this page today, and that's why I use the card with the two girls there on the bottom. So Liz has moved away. She's in a relationship of her own, and so we're not as close anymore. And I find myself coming back to that place and praying again for a friend. And I am confident that God will not answer it in the same way. I'm now at my husband's church. Since we're married, I joined his church, and there are about 90 people that worship with us on Sunday mornings, and I know all of them, and I know where each one of them sits. So I'm really excited to see how God is going to answer this prayer in his time. Kind of nerdy to admit here on YouTube, but I just absolutely had to share, what he had done in my life 4.5 years ago. This actually was a time, like I said, of letting go of old relationships and starting new ones. Just after I met Liz, I ended up meeting my husband. I remember just tearfully crying out to God, saying, Lord, please let the next one be the last one. And about 3 or 4 months later, I ended up meeting my husband, and we date, and we ended up getting married. And so it's so amazing to see God at work in my life like this. So I just want to encourage you guys and share this with you. It may be a type of entry that you haven't thought about doing in your Bible or your prayer journal, but it is very effective. You can see here that I'm flipping back to a previous entry that looks almost identical to this, and it's because I did it last week, and it's pretty much the exact same formula, the exact same letter stickers almost, just different colors. And so I just want to encourage you in that way also. You don't have to create a new work of art every single time you're in your Bible or prayer journal or what have you. You can certainly copy things and do things over and over again. It's not the letter stickers that matter to God, it's the fact that we're spending time with Him in His Word. So I'm just drawing some journal lines here. I'm not going to journal on camera because I've already told you what I'm going to write down. Here's a look at the finished page along with a couple of close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching and allowing me to share. I love making these videos and sharing them with you. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for a new Bible journal process video. I'll see you then.